In the meantime, we can start discussion on the assignment. If anyone has any question or any sharing, any reflection, yes. You want to say something, Didi? So, how many of you did the assignment? There was
Namaste, Bhaiya.
Namaste, Didi.
I did not complete the assignment. I'm sorry, but I did listen to the video. The video was really good.
Okay.
The video did speak about the research work which was conducted for over 80 to 85 years with a set of students from the university and set of people from the impoverished areas. And the research did tell you like the crux of UHV. The crux of UHV is to talk about happiness. And here this research also is talking about happiness and the longevity of the lifespan and a healthy life. And all this depends only on good relationship. If you have a very good family relationship, you will be like successful and you can live a happy life. Happy, long life without any great health issues. And people who do not have a good relationship or good family, then they are actually like suffering, and most of uh, depressed or become alcoholic or have tried to commit suicide or kill themselves. So at the end of the day, what matters is a family, a good understanding in the family.
Yeah, I'll explain that. In fact, there's a catch here. So, if you're not working for right understanding and you do not have fulfilling relationship also, then of course you are in trouble, right? But if you are working for right understanding, then it will also mend your relationship not only in the family but outside the family also. So outwardly the relationship may not look harmonious. That is quite possible, right? But innately you are going to be happy, and if the other person starts exploring, the other person is also going to be happy. So the catch is basically, if you do not understand this particular thing, then we may get again engrossed with accumulation and indulgence for the sake of keeping the family happy. This is the catch. So I wanted to show that video, but with this word of caution that look at the video, but be aware that this may also mislead at times. For example, it may be the case that once I prioritize relationship in the family, I try to keep fulfilling relationships in the family, and for that I am again into accumulation of physical facility, indulgence, sensation, just for the sake of keeping harmony in the family. This could be possible.
Can I do a personal sharing, Bhaiya? So before UHV, it was like I used to be like short tempered, angry at things, and I had yelled a lot at people, maybe family members as well. After UHV 1, I did not find any great effect, but after UHV 2, which was the in-house one, there were some changes in me, and I started realizing what is the actual importance of relationships. And but I have like transformed a lot, but still sometimes we won't be able to control our anger. So I have found out solutions for how to tackle this anger. Like I told my daughter, like when something goes wrong and like I'm angry, and when I start screaming, like when I just say, I just call out their name and start screaming, I told her, just tell me, Amma, sorry, with a cute face. Look at my face and just say, Amma, sorry. Just only these two words. Okay? I'll calm down. Because I wanted a cue. Because I will not remember UHV. I will not remember anything else like when I'm angry, right? So I wanted a cue for me to like remember, okay, no, you are not supposed to shout. So I just told this. And from that day, like both my kids, whenever like I start, Mahi, they'll say, Amma, sorry. I'll say, okay, fine, fine. So I'm like happy because there's a lot of peace at home now.
Yeah, that is good. Only that if you try to ensure right understanding among all in the family, then such situations will also be taken care of and will have a proper guidance in the family also. That is there. Yes, for volume. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, now it is better. Take a mic. Take a mic because people on the other side may not listen. Yeah.
Because on the costly cushions, or like if they just pour something, right? The moment it is poured, like you will get angry, you will get irritated. I just, when I'm about to scream and when they say, Amma, sorry, I'll understand. No, you should not shout. And then I'll just simply say, see, this is very costly here. You should not have done this. Okay, bring a towel. You wipe. I'll get them to do the work.
Yeah. So what I've written here is that if you look at the basic requirement for a happy and prosperous life in continuity, three things are required: right understanding, relationship, and physical facility. So what we saw yesterday is that we do have to give priority to physical facility. And what they concluded, essentially, if you see what they are saying, that it's not your wealth, name, fame, that is going to sustain happiness in life. It is your quality, fulfilling relationships. That is fine. This statement is fine, right? We are adding another thing above it, that the first priority is right understanding. If I am working for right understanding, relationship will also be taken care of and the physical facility also. Otherwise, it may be the case that to fulfill the relationship, we are again back to this program for yes, yeah. Yes. You are saying something at that time, no? Take a mic. Yes, Mia. Right. Yeah. Up and down. Okay. Yes, we can for time being. Yes, Bhaiya. You are saying something?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, we had explored many schools of psychology, positive psychology. Nature, answers in the natures are being sorting out the psychology.
Say it again. Up to what extent nature?
Answers in the nature
Answers in the nature.
are being accounted to answer.
What do you mean by answers in the nature? You can take the mic closer. Others may not be able to listen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope
Yeah.
now audible.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So, up to which extent many answers are available in the natural format? Because it is anyhow, even though it is experience-based proposals, the schools of psychology are proposed by many persons regarding whether it is natural or man-made psychological concepts.
See, everyone is essentially trying to study the nature.
Okay.
But whether you are going for pure observation or you are adding some thought from your side, that is the crux. So if you start adding some thoughts, you have multiple schools. But we start observing the nature as it is. So either you are observing partly or fully. That is only the case. But whatever you are observing, that is something that is there in the nature. Right? So if you look at different schools also, please mute yourself. Somebody is unmuted. So if you look at the different schools, they have different approaches. Somebody is looking at how sensations influence your perception. Somebody is looking at how social norms influence your perception. Somebody is saying how, right, the events that take place in your life influence your perception, through subconscious or unconscious thoughts. So it's only like that. So they are trying to study human being. They are trying to study the impact of one human being on the other, the rest of nature on the human being. They are trying to study this, but they might not be looking at it holistically. So one thing, whether it is holistic or not. Second thing, whether it is pure observation or not. So whenever you are observing through some instrument, you are adding some thought there to conclude. Okay. But when you are a pure observer, you are observing it without adding any thought. So whenever we are observing through sensation, then we always add a thought, because through sensation I am getting some information. Then I will add some meaning to the information through my thoughts. Okay, and then there could be variation. So if you look at this direct perception also, if I am observing something through sensation and then adding some idea, some thought to it, then there is no universality. But if I'm observing through my innate nature, through my higher level activities, then I do not need to add any thought to it. Only when I'm sharing or expressing, then I can add some thought to it. So if you look at the Eastern tradition, people have tried to look through those higher level activities, and then while sharing, they have added words and thoughts. If you look at the Western tradition, they have tried to look through these five senses and then added some thought. That is the basic difference between the Eastern approach and the Western approach. Western approach also the modern psychology, I'm saying, right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? How about assignments? Thank you, sir. Namaste. Any other person who has done the assignment? In fact, the number is low today. People might not have been able to wake up at 6 o'clock. So some actor might have come here also, है ना? अच्छा, okay. अच्छा, अच्छा. But it was your choice only, by which we decided. Okay. Yeah. So essentially, three things to be known: human being, existence, and role of human being in the existence. Yes. Not right. And we saw that there are four things to discuss: Prama, Prameya, Pramata, and Praman. So the valid knowledge is Prama. Pramata is one who knows, right? Pramata and Prameya is the object of valid knowledge, something to be known. And Praman is proof, the means to obtain valid knowledge. For that, again, we saw that there are six Pramans which have been discussed widely in the Indian tradition, and we discussed about each of them. So did you study these six Pramans going home? Okay. So let me ask something. Okay, which Praman is it? You see wet roads and dark clouds and you conclude that it rained recently. Which Praman is it? What? Direct perception or inference? Look into the notes. Anuman. This is Anuman. Inference. Okay. Inference. You learn about the Grand Canyon after reading about it in a trusted geography textbook and you accept it. What is this? Shabd. Yes. Wow, you have read it. Wait. Nice. You look at mango on a table and recognize it as a fruit. Direct perception. Yes. Pratyaksh. A traveler tells you about a desert animal called a camel, describing it as a tall animal with a hump like mountain. Later you identify it in a desert. Upman, yes, yes. Analogy. You notice your neighbor never eats during the day but remains healthy and energetic. You conclude that he must eat at night. Not in person. No, no, no. No, no, no pratiksha. Postulation. Arthpatti. Yes, postulation. You enter a room and see that there is no chair. So you say that there is no chair. Anuplabdhi. Yeah. Absence. From the sight of smoke rising from a distant hut, you reason that food is being cooked inside. Inference. Yes. Anuman. A scientist tells you that the earth revolves around the sun and you accept this as true. Shabd. Yeah. Verbal testimony. Yes. You are told that a panda is like a bear but black and white, and later you recognize it in a zoo. Analogy. Okay. Upman. You put your hand in cold water and immediately feel the chill. Direct perception. Yes. Pratyaksh. It is not pratiksha, it is pratyaksh. Pratyaksh. Yes. Nice. Yeah. So we can have some more examples here for perception, that is direct perception, pratyaksh. So direct knowledge through the senses or mind, seeing a pot on the table, feeling the warmth of sunlight on your skin. You know, we are seeing through senses. It is external perception, isn't it? Then Anuman, knowledge based on reasoning from observed signs, seeing smoke on a hill and inferring that this is fire, that there is fire. I should come here, otherwise. Yes. Observing dark clouds and inferring that it may rain soon. Then Upman, knowledge by comparison or resemblance. So learning what a buffalo is after someone says it looks like a big black cow, and then recognize it later. You recognize it later. Then identifying a zebra after being told it is like a horse with stripes. Shabd or verbal testimony. Knowledge through reliable words or testimony. Learning about the Himalayas height from a reliable geography textbook. Believing in the existence of a distant country because an experienced traveler or a trustworthy person has described it. Arthpatti, postulation. Knowledge gained by necessary supposition when direct evidence is lacking. So example could be a person is observed to be gaining weight but is never seen eating during the day. The ground is wet in the morning, but it did not rain overnight. You postulate that the sprinkler system must have been turned on, isn't it? Anuplabdhi, non-perception, knowledge of non-existence through non-observation. So knowing that there is no book on the table because it is not seen there, right? Realizing the fan is not running because you do not hear or feel its movement. So I can either see the fan not running, or I can also sense through touch that I'm not getting any sensation of air on my skin. So all these six pramans are there. Now, based on these various sources of knowledge, various Indian philosophical schools discuss subject matters which are metaphysical in nature, like Atman, soul, Srishti, universe, Ishwar, God, Moksh, liberation, Punarjan, rebirth, Manas or Man, that is mind, Buddhi, that is intellect, and so on and so forth. So we will see that there would be various theories about all this. Through different philosophies, people have tried to talk about self or soul or psyche or mind, right? Similarly, Srishti, universe, cosmos, Brahman, Brahm, space, existence. Similarly, God. What do you term as God? Then what do you term as liberation and so on? So origin of Indian philosophical thoughts can be traced back to the first available literature of the world, that is Rig Veda. So I have taken certain part of this whole content from NCERT books of class 11. So there are several things which have been taken from there. Then I have also taken certain material from various reference books and also use ChatGPT in this whole process. And whenever I'm taking something from ChatGPT, I'm also referring to the reference, whether it is there or not. So it is accepted that Rig Veda is the first available literature of the world, right? Philosophical discourse flourishes in Upanishads, last major part of the Vedic literature. So we'll not go into all those details like how many Vedas and how many Upanishads or Puran are there. This is not our concern basically. So we'll focus mostly on psychology part. So in the post-Vedic period, philosophical thoughts turned into independent schools. So earlier they were only as philosophical thoughts, but gradually they became independent schools. So we will see that there are 6 Vedic darshans: Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. Sometimes Mimamsa is called as Purva Mimamsa, Vedanta is called as Uttar Mimamsa. So there are 6 Vedic schools. And then 3 non-Vedic schools. So Charvak, Jain, and Bodh. Sometimes the first 6, that is the Vedic darshan, are also called orthodox darshans or orthodox philosophies, right? And the next 3 are called as heterodox philosophies. And they're also called as sometimes astic and nastic, right? But I'm generally not using the word astic or nastic here because there is another interpretation of the word astic and nastic. If you look at the word astic, asti means hai, something that is there, right? So one he is able to see what is there is astic, right? Nastic means something which is not there and I'm still assuming, that is nastic. So actually, if you see, all these are astic. But another connotation to astic and nastic is that those who assume Vedas to be the ultimate authority are termed as astic, and those who do not accept Vedas as the ultimate authority are termed as nastic. So, according to one kind of interpretation, the first 6 schools, the Vedic darshan, will be called as astic, and the next 3 will be called as nastic. Not exactly. It is about the acceptance of Vedas. Yes. In fact, I am not using the thieves and atheists also. I am saying orthodox and heterodox. So orthodox are those who are accepting Vedas, heterodox are those who are not accepting Vedas. And there will be multiple connotations you will see, right? The Indian philosophical thoughts are divided in 2 categories: astic, that which accept the validity of the Vedas as source of knowledge, and nastic, that which denies the validity of the Vedas as the source of knowledge. So the general meaning assigned to astic and nastic is like this. Charvak. Now the way the Charvak word has been written, I have taken it from the available literature. So the kind of typography that is used is somewhat different from English. So Charvak, Bodh, and Jain are considered Gnostic schools, so they don't take the Vedas as the valid source of knowledge. The rest of the 6 schools come under Astic. Fine. It is observed that by our seers, that the entire humanity is battered by threefold sufferings: Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Atmik. I will also not go into much details of this, right? So Adi Daivik is sufferings caused by nature. So some natural havoc, flood, volcano eruption, tsunami, forest fire, earthquake, right? They are called as Adi Daivik, Apada. Then Adi Bhautik, sufferings caused by creatures. So for example, fear of animals, fear of wild animals, right? Snakes and all these things. So they are called as Adi Bhautik. And Adi Atmik, sufferings pertaining to mind and spirit. So something to do with the self, right? Tension, anxiety, disorder, okay? Various kinds of ill feelings, they will all come under Adhyatmic. So basically the threefold suffering that have been listed are these of these 3 kinds. Sufferings caused by nature, sufferings caused by creatures, and sufferings pertaining to mind and spirit. Now, if you look at the pramans in various darshan, is this fine? If you look at the pramanas in various darshans, then also you'll see that there would be some variation, because it so happens that initially one darshan will go for one kind of praman, but gradually it will also start accepting other pramanas. This is quite possible. Yeah.
In the previous slide, can you please explain what is mind and spirit?
Mind and
Spirit.
spirit, yeah. So basically they are trying to address the conscious entity. The conscious entity, to address that particular entity, sometimes they are calling as soul, sometimes spirit, sometimes atma, sometimes this purush, right? Sometimes mind, sometimes chit. Various words have been used. So if you see what we were saying earlier, that there are three basic entities to be understood: the consciousness, material, and space. Right? Space, consciousness, and material. And they have tried to understand these three realities and express in various ways. Okay. Now it is our responsibility to evaluate what is being said and then make out our own program. Right. So we can see in various schools. Now again, something is said, but what is being said is not actually what is being transmitted. So if something is like Brahma Sutras are there, they have been said through shlokas. Okay. Now there will be various bhasya, interpretations of that. So somebody would be interpreting the same shlok in one manner, somebody in some other manner. And there would be multiple bhasya. And now some bhasya becomes popular, some bhasya doesn't become popular. Now we can see that basically the reality is there and the word is there. Right? And then we are trying to draw some meaning. So reality is there in the existence. I am selecting some word in my imagination and I am trying to denote some meaning to the reality. And I'm trying to communicate the same. Now the other person who is listening to me has not been able to see the reality. So he starts by inference, anuman. It must be like this. So for example, we have been talking about self. Okay. Have you seen the self? So there is no direct observation. So you are inferring about what is being said about the self. Right? It is not the body. It is with the body. It is there at the same point where the body is there. Right? You are inferring something. You are trying to make an anuman. Now, whatever anuman you make is a meaning that you associate. Now, in your imagination, you have various kinds of anumans, various kinds of sanskar, right? Then sometimes you are using analogy, sometimes you are inferring. Now, how does a self look like? Okay. So, what analogy can be given? So, I can give some analogy of the body. Now, I am here with the body. So, I am there with the body. Why should I be there? So, of course, when I was a child, I was only 2 feet high. Now, I am 5 feet 6 inch high, let's say, for example, right? So, I will not be only 2 feet here. I have also grown to this height. Now, when I'm raising my hands and I'm no longer here, I have come here. So one may give an analogy that it is similar to the body. Where the way the body is there, the self is also there. So the analogy for the self would be something similar to the body. So if somebody asks me how does the self look like, what is the form of the self, then I'll say that okay, just as a human being is there, the self is also there, right? And it is very much to be understood. If I am here at this point, earlier I was near the board. My body has come here. I also come here. Why will I be there by the board? So I am there with the body. I am having the same shape as the body, but there would be some variation. There might be some variation. How come? So for example, I want to protect my body. So if I'm just up to the skin of my body, will I be able to protect it? I will somewhat above the body also, somewhat outside the body also, so that I can protect my body. Right? Now I'm trying. I'm trying to use inference here. I'm trying to use analogy here, and I'm giving some shabd here. You are accepting me as a resource person. What I'm saying, I must be saying based on some ground. So likely that you are going to accept what I'm saying. So using that shabd also here, isn't it? And you are able to see that I can directly perceive something that is material. I cannot perceive directly something that is consciousness, isn't it? So even if anuplabdhi is there, you're not able to see the self through your eyes, you accept it. So you're not using anuplabdhi here. You are not using absence here, right? Are you getting all this? So this is the way we try to conclude about the self. So the body is like this, the self would also be like this. So I can apply all these logic, the analogy, the inference, the direct perception to get a sense of what self would be like. So in a similar manner, somebody who has seen the reality, somebody who has seen the space, the consciousness, the material, now he's trying to convey to the world. The people have not been able to see this. So they will use all those 6 kinds of pramans in their own ways. Right? Now, if the level of imagination is developed, you will use some kind of anuman or some kind of this thing analogy, which gives you some similar sense. If not, then to explain to the masses, I can make some caricature for this. I can make some design for this. Okay, okay, space is just like this. Okay, somebody is there and who is working as space. Okay, so I can make some deity here, some right, and then one may assign some word like God here. So if space is not clear, some margins is not clear, let's say, then we may assign something called God here and try to explain all this. What is God? What is human being? What is animal? What is bird, water, soil, plant? So ultimately, the reality is there. I am using a word to denote the reality, and you are inferring some meaning within you using all those 6 kinds of pramans. Now, whenever it is happening, there will be a lot of variation here. First of all, the word that I use will not be the same. So, for example, if they are using the word, let's say, spirit, so that you do not get driven by that sense of spirit, using the same analogy, I'll use the word self. Okay. Now, if still people are not able to get the correct meaning of self by using the word self, 100 years hence somebody may use some other word because this word is misleading, let's say, for people. People are not able to actually get the meaning of the word self by all these means, by all this description. So they will use some other word. So this is the way it keeps on happening. So essentially people are trying to convey these 3 realities through word, and they are trying to address some meaning to this. Now whether this meaning is the same as this one depends on what kind of praman you are using. If you are going by simply this inference or analogy, then you will have difference. But if you are able to directly perceive this through a higher potential, you will see the same thing. Now, not every human being is able to directly perceive this through the higher potential. It takes time. So what to do for the time being? For the time being, we do so many things. It is
Here,
said, yeah.
it basically means the unguided B2 block.
Yes. Yes. So the current level of competence in block B2, with that only we have to work, isn't it? Now, if you look at the various pramans that have been used, and there could be some variation also here. So, like even if some philosophy is there, 3,000 years back, one kind of analogy might be used, or praman might be used. 1,000 years back, some other praman also might have been started, people started using. That is possible. So Charvak, if you see, there is one darshan Charvak, it is only using pratyaksh praman, and that also only external perception. Direct external perception. We'll study about Charva. If you look at Buddhism and Vaisheshik, they are using pratyaksh, direct perception, and Anuman. They accept both. That Anuman is also okay. Okay, we'll accept Anuman also. In Jainism, Sankhya and Yoga, they are using these three praman: pratyaksh, Anuman, and Shabd. In Nyaya, they are using the four pramans: pratyaksh, Anuman, Shabd, and Upaman. And Mimamsa and Vedanta, they are using all the six pramans. There also, if you see in Jainism, they accept perception, inference, and testimony, that is Shabd, but emphasizes on Anekantvad and Shadvad. Anekantvad means many sides of the truth. The same truth may have multiple sides. And then Shadvad, conditional predication. It could be hetu, like this also, like that also. So even if they are drawing some inference, they will have different inferences for the same postulation, and they will also use conditional predication. That is called as Shadvad. So there's a whole lot to study. When you study Jainism in detail, you will get all this. Similarly, in Mimamsa also, there are two Mimamsa, Prabhakara Mimamsa and Bhatta Mimamsa. In Prabhakara Mimamsa, they are using five pramans: Pratyaksh, Anuman, Upman, Arthapati, and Shabd. And Bhatta Mimamsa, they are using six pramans. They are also adding Anuplabdhi. Now, if you look at the West, they are using the word cognition. Okay, perception, cognition, these words they are using. Now here also we have the actual Sanskrit words. Now to express it to you, I am using English words, but these English words have origin in Latin, and in the Latin also it has come from some literature, as sir was explaining yesterday, from where the psycho word came. Okay, so it has its words originated in some literature, and that might not also English. So through ages it has come, right, with different connotations. But to convey this to you, I have to use English words. Now cognition, perception are the English words which might have a different kind of meaning. So again, either we use the same Sanskrit word to keep the originality, or use the English words to communicate, but that may lose the originality. So that's why in some like some words we have retained Hindi words only, like sanskar or sanyam, and we have not translated because there was no direct English translation for that. The closest word can be looked into. So this is about the six pramans, the nine darshans, how they are going for the six pramans. Yeah. Now in India we find three main. Noted. This part is noted. Anyway, I'll be sharing the PDF also in the evening. Now, if you look at the various intellectual traditions, there are three traditions: Nigam, Agam, and Shraman. So Nigam tradition is the one in which they accept the words of Vedas, right? The origin of Vedas is not known. Who wrote Vedas? Okay, you can make some speculation, but actually we are not aware of the person who wrote the Vedas. But since they are written in Vedas, and accepting that somebody who has written such knowledgeable texts must be knowledgeable, people are simply accepting whatever it is in the Vedas. So if you look at the all six Vedic darshans, they come from Nigam tradition, right? Then there's one Agam tradition. So for example, we know who was Buddha, right? He meditated. We know the life before he came to realize. We also know the life after he realized. We can see the transformation in him, right? So we accept him. We confide in him. Now, whatever Buddha says, that is written in some textbook. So Buddha explored, right? But since we are aware that he explored, we very much know about him. So whatever he wrote in the text, we are accepting the Shabd. That is Agam. So Agam essentially means, if you look at the Sanskrit meaning, Ana. We say no, Agachati, Aata hai. So it has come from somewhere. We know the starting point. In Nigam tradition, there is no starting point. In Agam tradition, there is a starting point. So another word for Shabd is Agam also. But Agam has a, like Shabd is quite general. I can also accept the words of my parents, right? Or some scientist. But Agam has a deeper sense. No, somebody who has been able to realize the truth, whatever in whatever way he is expressing. I am accepting that person as the origin, and then accepting everything written by him as something as true. So that is the Agam tradition. Then there is another tradition called Shraman. Ji.
Bhaiya, did you say 6 Vedas or 4 Vedas?
Six. No, Vedas I did not say anything.
Okay.
6 darshan.
Darshans only mentioned.
4 Vedas, yeah. I'm not going to details of Vedas and Upanishads, because this will deviate from psychology. So we are focusing because in UHV 5 you can study all these darshans in detail. Now I'm going to cover one darshan in one session, so only in 1.5 hours. Okay. The third tradition is Shraman tradition. Shraman means who lead an ascetic life, and they say that I will explore myself. I will not go by anything written by others. So generally, I will try to explore. I will meditate. I will do all those that is possible, but I'll try to look myself. So that becomes the Shraman tradition. So the tradition of Nigam, also known as the Veda, believes that the Vedas are either eternal or the teachings of God. Hence, their authority is unchallengeable. This tradition is the base of the 6 prime systems of Indian philosophy. Apart from Nigam tradition, there has been a parallel tradition of Agam. In this tradition, the followers have their own scriptures, either in Sanskrit or in other languages. For example, if you see this Bodh Darshan written in Prakrit, so all the shlokas you will see, all the hymns you will see, they are written in Prakrit. Then the Shraman were the monks who led a very rigorous life around the 6th century BC. Different Shramanic groups appeared in opposition of the Vedic literature, which are ritualistic, and laid emphasis on leading a moral life. See, the problem is that something is coming from the tradition, and they are trying to talk about this, right? They are trying to express this through words. I am assigning some meaning. Now, one problem is I do not assign the same meaning as the reality. The second is I assign the same meaning, but my sanskars do not allow me to live accordingly. For example, we all are aware of the meaning of prosperity, right? We all are aware that the need for physical facility is limited as expressed in the workshop, and needs of the body are different from needs of the self. But still, we may have craving through preconditioning or sensation for accumulation or going for more than required physical facility. If I do not live accordingly, if I do not try to validate in my living, then this may gradually lead to a wrong tradition. Okay, because I am not able to see happiness there in continuity. For example, I have anxiety, I am not able to resolve something in my life. I can see that this is due to lack of right understanding. But what to do at this moment? So let me go for drinking. Now, drinking is never proposed in the workshops. But it may be the case that a participant in the workshop, once is not able to resolve the problem of anxiety, is going for drinking. Now, somebody who is not attending the workshop comes and sees that, okay, this person is into drinking and he has been attending UHV workshops. What does this UHV workshop doing to the people, to the society? This is good for nothing. So one person may start criticizing. Okay. UHV, for example. And then some other thing may come up. This is quite possible. So the onus, you'll see, lies on us to validate in living and live accordingly, right? Only thing that we can be transparent in our life. We can say that, yes, whatever I'm doing is not correct. For time being, I'm doing this. I want to come out of it. If that transparency is there, well and good. But if I try to defend it, no. I have seen, Kumar Sambasar also drinking sometime. Then that will lead to a wrong tradition. Now, this is what might be happening in the tradition. The people may not be living accordingly. So if you look at the life of Buddha, right, such a rigorous life. But if you look at the Buddhist tradition, so many things appeared after 1,000 years, if you see. Like he appeared in 567 BC, right? And if you look at 500 AD, so many wrong traditions had come, right? Then people started opposing them. And then another kind of like,
Sir, I have a doubt.
yes.
The Vedas and the slogas, all those things, no, sir. Does it lead to self-realization? All these practices.
It's again boils down to you. Where shlokas are words. They are trying to denote meaning. Okay. Whether I am able to see the meaning here or not. Now, one possibility is that Some of the words are denoting the meaning. Some of the words are adding to your conditioning. Okay. And why that could be there? For example, if you ask everyone to meditate and see space every day, people will feel bored. Maybe people will not enjoy it that much. So you can say that, okay, there is a ritual, go to the people tree and do something there. And use these words, right? And come back. Then people start doing this. Is a very simple thing.
Then we should know the meaning and do it, everything.
Yes,
The
yes.
slogas, everything.
Somebody asked me that puja is going on in the house and then you please be there and participate. I said that I will only participate if you explain the meaning of each and every shloka that is read. And then we'll discuss it. Otherwise, you are doing it manually. Where is the worship? But if you read those words and try to get into the meaning, they are highly deep words that are being used. And they are trying to denote the reality. Yeah. And if you explain the meaning, they'll start laughing. I'm not going to do all this. Better not to get married, है ना? Yes. Yes. Even when people are going for worshipping or any kind of puja, okay, they are chanting. You ask them to just explain the meaning of this, isn't it? Many times I found that people are remembering the mantras very well, but they don't know the meaning of mantras. So if I just get stuck to the words, so one possibility is that the word is also misleading. The word is not actually denoting the reality. Even if the word is denoting the reality, I'm not associating the right meaning. Even if I'm associating the right meaning, I find it difficult to live accordingly. So in the marriage, so many mantras are being read, but the couples are not ready to live accordingly. Okay, they say that let me be just yeah. No, even if you tell them, that you have to follow all these rules in your life, never get angry, never shout, okay, always maintain chastity and all those things, right? And they'll say, oh, this is very difficult. So now what is our approach? So we will try to see the reality. And we are trying to study all the words and the connotations that have been shared throughout the tradition and try to see how we can utilize it for improving the psychology of a human being. How to ensure happiness in a human being, isn't it? So if you look at the Nigam tradition, that is the Vedic tradition, the term Nigam generally refers to the Vedas and the religious philosophical tradition that arises from them. So if you look at the key features, Nigam essentially means Veda. In Sanskrit, Nigam means that which is handed down by tradition. So Agam means we know the source, right? And from there it started. It started coming from there. Nigam means I do not know the source. It is just coming, flowing. The Nigamic tradition is Astic. Orthodox accept the authority of the Vedas as supreme. The six classical Astic darshanas, Nyaya, Vaishesik, Sankhya, Yoga, Purvamimamsa, Uttamimamsa, that is Vedanta, belong to this tradition. So here you'll see that the emphasis has been on rituals, dharma, cosmic order, that is Rit, Moksha, all these things. So multiple rituals got added. In fact, if you look at Indian tradition, at some point of time, sacrifices become very prevalent. Okay. And because of that, there was so much of exploitation taking place of human being, of the rest of nature. So at one point of time, people started opposing this, that this is not acceptable naturally, will not go by this. So gods are acknowledged and Vedic mantras are considered Shabda Praman, valid source of knowledge. So to summarize it, Nigam is the Vedic scriptural, ritualistic, orthodox system of Indian philosophy. Right? Now we can take all this as a proposal. Whatever written in the Vedas, we can read it, take as a proposal, verify within, validate in living. If it is acceptable to me naturally, well, good. If not, then I'll keep on one side. For example, if you are doing some ritual also, so many rituals we might be doing. Is that leading to the feeling of happiness and continuity? Is that leading to feeling of prosperity and continuity? right? How does it ultimately fulfill my life or the life of the society? That we can explore. We'll see that multiple traditions or rituals have also been uh, like promoted to make people meet each other, to keep the society together. For example, if you look at this Kumbh Snan, okay, more than 25 crore people went there. Now, what did you gain out of the Snan? As such, nothing. You daily take a Snan in the house. So, what will you get a Snan by that a Snan in that river? But the good thing is that the whole country traveled to one point. So, they interacted, they felt related, isn't it? So, the basic purpose not to ensure a Snan in the Ganges. The basic purpose was to make people meet each other. Yes. Mike.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
I need some clarification when we are studying Veda, because in Gurukulam education system we have studied Veda, and now in UHV we are trying to get back with that Vedic education again. So
I'm not saying that.
uh,
We are not trying to get back to Vedic education. I'm saying that to study human psychology, Vedas have been one source of knowledge.
mm,
So we can take it as a proposal, we can explore it, verify, validate, and if valid, then we can live accordingly.
yeah, actually, why in the meantime it was dropped, and why it was not into taken into our education system? This is my first question. Second question, when it comes to Veda and Upanishads and rituals, uh, there we could see discrimination. So these people, one set of people should take up the rituals, and another set of people. So as a human as a whole, rituals are common to everyone, dharmas are common to everyone.
Yeah. So if there's any tradition which is not leading to mutual happiness and mutual prosperity, okay, it means there is something wrong with that. So the test would be mutual happiness, mutual prosperity, the validation living. If something is not leading to that, even if the proposal is correct, but you are not validating rightly, okay, or you are getting lost in multiple details. Are you listening to me? A parallel workshop is going on. Okay. Nice. Please ask me. So the test is mutual happiness, mutual prosperity. If something which was proposed rightly, okay, but a wrong meaning was associated, or even if the right meaning was associated, people found it difficult to understand and they entered into some wrong tradition, and it did not lead to mutual happiness, mutual prosperity, it will have opposition and it will be discarded sooner or later, right? So with the Vedas also, so many rituals came. I removed the word sacrifices from here because like it was quite explicit. So we can see that so many sacrifices become prevalent, sacrificing animals, sacrificing so many things, right? And people had to invest their whole wealth in terms of sacrifices, and there would be certain group of people who would be dominating the society, certain group of people who would be exploited. So it is not leading to mutual happiness or mutual prosperity. So it was opposed, it was discarded, right? So initially this Vedic tradition was there, but it was discarded during the time of Buddha and Mahavir. But again, the tradition that is started from Buddha and Mahavir, like if you look at the Buddhist tradition in India, it becomes almost everywhere, in every part of the country. But again, some wrong tradition started. So it is said that in the mutt, people were not leading an ascetic life the way Buddha preached. They were into indulgence. They were into sensual pleasures. All those things had entered into the Buddhist mutt. So Shankar started opposing it, right? So we'll see that ultimately, if I'm not validating in my living and it is not leading to mutual happiness, mutual prosperity, then there would be opposition. But I'm not living accordingly. I'm reacting, I'm shouting, I'm showing anger, I'm exploiting, I'm dominating. Then people will lose confidence in us. And then some other kind of tradition will start. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that these are the three realities that I have to understand, and this is the priority in my life, and this is the proof whether I am living accordingly or not. If this is not resulting, people will look for alternatives, right? So even though we have a long tradition, even the source is not known, thousands of years, but still people are not accepting, even inside the country, all these traditions. Outside the country, of course, they are not accepting. Why? Because we are not able to express this proof. We are divided. We could not have undivided society. In fact, if I extend this will go to undivided society. If I write here, it will not be, it will not be that clear. Is this font visible even if I write somewhat smaller fonts? Now I'll write in short. So if you are able to ensure human tradition, people will also accept it. If not, then people will look for alternatives. So all of us who are attending this workshop have a big responsibility that we have to let people confide in us. Isn't it? They need to have assurance about us, about our conduct. Somebody is talking. Is this fine? So we have to validate up to here. Undivided society. R is right understanding, relationship, physical facility. Right understanding coupled with relationship leading to mutual happiness, here leading to mutual prosperity, this leading to undivided society, this leading to universal human order, finally human tradition. So these are the three realities and this is the validation. Now we are in between, trying to see the reality, live accordingly, and accepting the responsibility to go up to human tradition. Isn't it? So in all the traditions, people have tried to see the reality. Since it did not land up in human tradition, people have to look for alternatives. So Vedic tradition was there, then some anomalies appear there. To remove those anomalies, Bauddha and Jain darshan came, but then there were again some anomalies. So again Vedic darshan came. Okay, then some more philosophies came. Some people invaded from outside. They had their own philosophy. Now we have a complete mix here, right? And then we are saying that okay, take everything as a proposal, verify within, ensure for yourself that you are able to live with happiness in continuity. You are able to live with prosperity in continuity. You are able to ensure mutual happiness in all your relationships.
What do you mean by gods are acknowledged?
Ji?
Gods are acknowledged.
Yeah. What you are saying?
Last.
Gods are acknowledged, yes. Yeah, so in the Nigam tradition, they are accepting. And they are accepting the God as a creator and destroyer and a operator. In most of them. That is not validation. accepting.
Meditation. How is it possible?
See, we have to realize and understand what God is. Unless you understand God, you will carry it by some analogy or some inference, right? And then you might be misled. If you do not go by seeing or knowing and you just try by assuming, then it will be misleading. So even if there's a word like God, then you have to understand what God is.
Why gods must be acknowledged? If I am the god, why should I be acknowledged? I am running the show.
Then there is should or shouldn't. You are saying in Vedic tradition, gods are acknowledged. It's not about you. We are talking about the Vedic tradition.
The tradition they acknowledge God acknowledge பண்றாங்க.
Similarly, in the Agam tradition, the scriptural tradition or non-Vedic religions, the term Agam refers to scriptures and authoritative teachings of religions outside the Vedas. So in Hinduism, if you see, it refers to the manuals of worship, temple rituals, yoga, philosophy, considered complementary to the Vedas, but in practice, many sects give them more importance in ritual and temple life. So there are so many Agam traditions here, like going to temples, offering, making offering, fulfilling rituals. That those all things are there. In Jainism, if you see, the canonical scriptures containing teachings of Mahavir and other Tirthankars. So two main traditions are here, Shvetambar and Digambar. The content would be philosophy, ethics, discipline for monks and laypersons. If you look at the Buddhism tradition, then collections of early discourses of Buddha, similar to Nikayas in Pali canon, and preserved in Chinese Tripitaka. So Tripitaka, Tripitaka. They are the translations. So summary would be Agam is authoritative scriptures of the Hindu sects, Jains and Buddhists, often non-Vedic in religion. So again, as I told you, Agam tradition started with some people, right? So there would be saints, there would be monks, there would be hermits, there would be a noble person in society who started some tradition. And then people are accepting whatever they are saying. So this becomes the Agam tradition. Right? So not limiting only to this, I can see that there are so many saints and gurus whom people accept, right? And whatever they say, they go by that. That becomes an Agam tradition. So for example, let's say Sai Baba appeared, or he said something, right? People are following whatever he has said as a ritual. That becomes an Agam tradition. Then the next one is Shraman tradition. The Shraman movement, 6th century BC, refers to the non-Vedic ascetic traditions of India, parallel to the Nigamic traditions. So Shraman is one who practices Shram, austerity, effort, discipline. So those who are practicing effort and discipline. It focuses on renunciation, meditation, ethics, and liberation without reliance on Vedas or sacrifices. So major Shraman tradition we see in Jainism, so founded or revived by Mahavir. So there are 24 Tirthankars. Mahavir was the 24th Tirthankar. There are so many 23 before him also. So it teaches non-violence, karma as matter, and liberation through ascetic discipline. Buddhism is founded by Buddha, teaches 4 noble truths, no soul doctrine, dependent origination, and nirvana. And then Ajivika is also there. It was founded by Makhali Goshala. It believed in niyati, that ultimately whatever is happening is your fate. Everything is self predetermined. Okay, so this is another school of thought or another school of philosophy where they say that everything is determined, prior to your existence, and then you are just being governed by that. But yeah, so for you, if you are just going by the text, it is agam. But if you look at them, what they did, what Buddha did, what Mahavira did, so it was Sraman. So Buddha and Mahavira came from the Sraman tradition, but the followers are in the Agam tradition. Yes, but they meditated. Okay, they renounced, and then they came to see the truth to whatever extent they could see. So they founded the Sraman tradition. Now, if one is also trying to meditate without assuming whatever is in the text as true, if one is also trying to meditate the way Buddha did or Mahavira did, then they are into this Sraman tradition. No, Agam means something where we know the origin of literature. Okay, Nigam is I do not know the origin of literature, from where it originated. I only see the tradition. It has been there. Vedas are there. But we can see that Buddha were there, Mahavir was there, and from there this tradition originated. Right? And Sraman means the actually practitioners who originated that particular tradition. They are Sramans. Yes. So they said that will not, in fact, in place of saying Vedic, we can say that they said that the Vedic tradition is not leading to universal human order. Okay. So let me meditate. Let me explore separately. So they explored.
Bhaiya. Bhaiya, UHV is all making us follow Shramana by self-exploration.
Yes, in some sense, yes. No, don't go by what is written in the text. You explore yourself. Take everything as a proposal. Sraman.
Shramana.
So do Shram. Yes.
Agam.
Yeah. So you'll see that in this process, partly we are doing Agam, partly Shraman. Because we are accepting something, I am not able to see the space, for example. I accept that it might be there, but I'm trying to see. So to what extent I'm exploring, I'm doing Shram. Rest I'm accepting. Even there I can keep it open. So we are not saying that if you are not able to see space, accept it. No. You can keep all possibilities open. So essentially we are doing this Shraman or we are doing Shram. Yeah. But again, there could be multiple connotations. So we are not saying that you renounce the society or go for austerity. Okay, this is something that has been said about what existed. So we are saying have a fulfilling life, be prosperous, be happy. So there would be alteration again. We are not saying that you have to leave your family, go to the forest and meditate and do all those austere things. No, we are not saying that.
If we are going for temple for my birthday or something, and we are praying God, that comes in Nigam.
No, if you look at this, it will come to this Agam tradition.
Agam only.
So, like, why are you going to temple? You are accepting somebody as deity. We are accepting somebody as deity. If you look at the religious this thing, but again, like I'll say that it can come in both. It depends how you are operating. So various rituals, worship, going to temples. Okay, mostly this is Agam. Mostly, but not all. But if you are going to the temple and reading Vedas, you are following the Nigam tradition. If you are not interested in reading Vedas, you are only following some rituals, having worshipping some deities. You are going by this Agam tradition. Why? Because somebody has told this to you. Okay, some saint, some rishi, some ascetic told this to you, and you are doing that. So, for example, if you look at the tradition, Shav, Vaishnav, and all those traditions came here. I have not listed all those. That detail was there, but I have removed those names. So, Shav tradition, Vaishnav tradition, Shakta tradition. Somebody worships power, like Durga. Then Shiv worshippers, Vishnu worshippers, where Ram, Krishna, and all worshippers are there. So those traditions will come here. Nice. So features of Shraman schools. So reject authority of the Vedas, that is Nigam. Non-theistic or agnostic, they do not depend on God for liberation. Emphasis on personal experience, rationality, and ascetic practices. So teach karma, sansar, cycle, and moksha, except charvak. So charvak also you'll see, we'll talk about charvak, it is a completely hedonic, materialistic way of looking at things. But it is also included in the Shraman tradition, though they were not ascetics, they were into indulgence. Great stress on ahimsa, non-violence, shram, effort, and renunciation. So that was completely to renounce or to reject what was being practiced in the Vedic tradition. Because in the Vedic tradition, there was so much of violence getting involved, killing of animals and all those things, or exploitation of men and women. And shram was promoted, right? Personal experience was promoted. So Shraman is to renounce, that is renunciate ascetic, heterodox, non-Vedic philosophical streams of ancient India, which includes Jains, Buddhists, and Ajiviks. Some people also include the Charvaks also here. Pardon? Yeah. Welcome to Jainism. Welcome to Jainism. No. It has a different way of looking at things. In Jainism, they are accepting separate selves of human beings. In Buddhism, they are not talking about that particular thing. Let us see. Okay, these are the three traditions. So this I brought just to see like how we have been practicing and what traditions have emerged in our tradition. Pardon? Okay, we'll talk about this. From where it originated. Yeah, in Jainism it is not allowed.
But yeah,
Yes.
after listening to these words, since we are more used to these English words, when modern psychology was taken, we were like, okay, this is all connected. But our own these traditional words, no, when we connect, it seems to be some different language, some that conditionings are coming up. When modern psychology speak, it's like English because we are most too used to that. So now the meanings which I'm giving, I'm giving it like, okay, this is like that, this, because we are not used to it, but lot to explore in our traditions. But
yeah, Hindi words I have kept to a large extent because the English words may not actually denote the meaning. See, whenever you study something, a vocabulary will come. So, for example, when we're studying the Western psychology, this perception, cognition, right? Yeah. Nice. So, if you look at the philosophical systems, something that we're going to discuss in this workshop. So, the 6 philosophical systems of Vedic Darshan. So, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Purvimamsa, and Uttarmimamsa. Uttarmimamsa is also called Vedanta. Then if you look at the other darshans that we are going to study, Charvak, Bodh and Jain, and then we'll also study Madhyav Darshan. So in this workshop, I am going to talk about these 10 darshans, okay, and how we have been trying to understand the human being, the role of human being, the existence, okay, the transformation process for a human being, and all this we can study in all these darshans. Now, other philosophies could be Taoism, Sufism or Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Confucianism, Zoroastrianism, Judaism. So we are not going to discuss about all this here, but you by yourself as an assignment can study. Okay, and then try to find out those 8 questions, responsive to those 8 questions. What is human being? What is the process to transform the human being? What is the concept of full human potential in this particular ism or darshan? Isn't it? But you will be able to appreciate the effort that people have made throughout the ages across the world. I was reading Sufism and I could see that they have their own words, okay, but they are also trying to address very clearly what self is, what space is, what the process of transformation is. Only thing is that when we are not able to live accordingly, Okay, this also I should add here. So the next thing that I have written here is understanding and living accordingly. So all this, whether it is getting mapped correctly or not, is questionable. Yes. Now when it becomes tough, then people come up with alternatives. If you are able to validate in society, in fact, people are asking that, okay, UHV is, for example, going on. So what is the validation? Right? That it has transformed the faculty, transformed the students. So they are looking for that. Fine. So many times in the meetings, no, people will say something like this, right? But I have some ready-made answers also to respond to all these questions. Okay. Yes. So I am going to list certain questions which people might ask, and what would be the response to that? Yeah. So generally, people say that, okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So you ask whenever somebody is saying no, that what is the outcome, what impact it has made. So you ask that, do you go for walking in the morning? Do you do yoga? Okay. They will say yes. I do something for the health. Then are you 100% healthy? No. So can we say that yoga is making no use for you? No. So it is transforming. It is under process, isn't it? So using this analogy also, I found that if you use the analogy of health and medical practices, right, we can suggest that yes, people are able to see that this is working. Someone was saying to me that, okay, so many programs are running, so many people are attending workshop. Who has become the person with right understanding? 100% right understanding. Then I said that, okay, so many hospitals are running, so many doctors are there, medical science is there. Who is the person with 100% pure health? No. So can we say that doctors are of no use? Medicine is of no use? Hospital is of no use? Pharmacy is of no use? No. But it is of course making it better. So the medical system is making the health better. If you don't have the choice of hospital, where will you go when you fall sick? Similarly, if you do not have value-based education, then we are responsible for the worsening state of the society. On the other hand, institutes are being asked that what are you doing to remove the stress problems among the students? What are you doing to remove the problem of committing suicides? All those things. And how are you going to undo all these things from the institutions? The institute do not have an answer. In fact, someone was telling me in a meeting that students started saying that you are saying that bribing is bad. In which course do you teach me? Taking bribe is bad. Which course tells this? So we have to have courses where we can directly address all these issues. And the students have problems in relationships with the fellow students, okay, and we are trying to address them. In which course you are talking about the relationship with your peer group? Is there any course? If not, then who is responsible? You cannot say that parents are responsible. The students are spending most of the time with us now. Parents are on their job. They are throughout the day with us. At night, both are sleeping, parents and students, even the school, and of course, when they come to the hostel, they are with us. So they might be spending more time with us, with teachers. They left their house at the age of 6, for example, to go to school. Now they're spending mostly time with us. So are we not responsible? Parents will say that, okay, I'm paying fee, I'm doing all these arrangements. Then what good you are doing to my child? If my child is becoming a criminal by going to institution, then can't I blame you? So what are we doing essentially? So we can respond to all these queries. But yes, they are valid questions and we need to have valid answers. But finally, we have to understand and live accordingly. If this is not validated, this is the validation part. If this is not validated, then people will start for looking some other tradition, some other practice, some other program. So on one hand, what we are trying to do, the various courses that are being taught, we are trying to give a holistic perspective to this. For example, psychology, sociology, economics, and all these humanities courses. This is one effort. Secondly, we are also trying to make the courses more explorative through exercises, practice sessions.
Yeah, material can be understand with the all the material, but consciousness how to understand through the material.
See, ultimately here also, if you look at it, your body is material. My body is material. I am responding to your question through material, and the material is receiving it.
But understanding is happening in
Yes. So now you are utilizing this material as instrument. They are saying I am going one step further. You are using this mic, I am using this mic. So with this body, I am also using the physical instrument, right? We are using the words in our ears. They might be using some instrument to see the visible results on some graph, okay? Maybe some oscilloscope. So they are saying that ultimately we have to use the material world.
Because this validation when it comes, no, what I understood, it's directly me. Even sometimes I cannot able to explain what exactly I was.
Yeah, but you can always say that yes, I am feeling happy with this person. Everybody will accept it. If everybody says that okay, we are able to live happily together, we are a happy society, and the data would be explicit: no crimes, no murders, no theft, okay, no cheating, nothing like that. Lot of sharing, people happily living together. Then who will reject it? It is said that this 1739, no, one invader attacked India, no, 1739. So he was coming from Afghanistan. So what he did at night, he went to see the battleground, and then he saw that in the battleground, so many fires are there. He said, that, why is that fire everywhere? Then they said that people are cooking food for them. Then he said that why they are not cooking in one place? No, they are different castes. They don't eat together. Then they said that I am going to win the battle tomorrow. For sure. If they can't even eat together, how will they live together? And if they can't live together, then of course my invasion is going to be successful. Nadir Shah, Nadir Shah. So, given all this, we are not able to live together happily. We have so much of differentiation. You may be blaming people. Like it is very simple to blame those who promoted caste system or promoted class system or this and that. But you try to live without any differentiation, and then you will see. So basically, if you look at the caste system also, it was distribution of work. And we are distributing work here also. Some people are teaching, some people are maintaining the finances, some people are dealing with the government, some people are managing the market, some people are cleaning the toilets, some people are taking care of the security. Here also we have distributed work, right? So classification is there. So if you look at the caste system, that also originated from this varnashram when people started distributing work. And that is anyway part of any kind of system. Every person cannot do everything. The problem arises when you start differentiating. Okay. So in place of looking down at the sweeper, we can see that how I can develop instruments so that this person doesn't have to do filthy work. And even if I have to do filthy work, I'm ready. In my college, I do ask that, okay, the task of sweepers is to keep the college clean. But whose job it is to make the college dirty? No one's. Then why are you making the college dirty? We accept that it is their task to make it clean. Then who task is to make it dirty? No one's. But if I do not accept this, then I'm going to differentiate.
Bhaiya, one question, Bhaiya.
Yes.
Here, Bhaiya. Since actually I am about to ask, you also started the same point of differentiation like that topic from my childhood days onwards, and also now I am seeing some problem regarding the differentiation in terms of a caste, like to the next level, just above man, like men and women difference. Because of that, I am my group of friends from my 10th standard. One girl got married. She's a topper. In my caste, it is like that. In my after my BTech, I saw few girls. They got married. My tradition is like that. Since we are talking about the tradition here, I for sometime I feel very bad. That people made this way. That is what this we are. Finding some problem in the society, like we could not even progress in some terms. If I ask my relatives or my group of elders, they used to say it was like that before, that like that. So we are talking of course I
The
appreciate,
question is not clear. What is the question?
I always appreciate the effort they are taking. I am not against that. Since we are talking about many Jainism like that, how they find the rules, how they handled this type of difference among a boy and a girl, and depends on the caste, how they dealt that time, why they differentiated. Because now we used to hear that is the reason we are following. Since I am facing problem now, they are also many, everybody is believing and telling that was the practice. Where so then I attended one NEP 2021 course by for that time one ma'am gave. She is also a writer. She is telling in 100 years before, the percentage of people studied girl is very very less. Like one caste is very high. They have listed the caste wise before 100 years how many went to school. Many difference that time. So how they why they made, since they, but they are giving solutions in all aspects, spirituality, everything that we I am
Let
taking.
me respond. Yeah. So if you look at the Indian tradition, also they have been multiple phases. So there was one phase, up to let's say 1000 AD. If you look at the status of women up to 1000 AD, it was completely at par with men. If you look at like stories of Mahabharata and Ramayana, you can see the high kind of placement that was given to women. After invasion, it deteriorated, right? So after 1000 AD, you can see the deterioration started. Otherwise, before that, they also used to do shastra like this. The story, that uh, Vedant, the person originated Vedant, so he had this dialogue with Mandan Mishra, right? And the person who was mediating in the dialogue was his wife, Maitreyi. Maitreyi, yeah. So the women had a very high placement. If you look at the characters in Mahabharata, they will call a Karna is called a Kante, son of Arjun will call as Kante, son of Kunti. So every person was named by his mother. So that kind of placement was there, and they were educated. It's not that they were not allowed to go for education. This deterioration started today, and we can see the explicit proof there also. Like in Afghanistan, what is happening? Okay, if you are a woman, you have to be like this. In Iran, what is happening? So this kind of tradition emerged later on. Otherwise, in India, it was not the case earlier also. Pardon?
Bhaiya, I have a question.
Yeah, and there also the problem lies here, that something might have been said correctly here, some words are used, and then since you are not able to live accordingly, you picked some part of it, right? And then you started living accordingly. Yes. So, in fact, what I'm going to discuss is only this, But I am saying that let us not be limited to this. See, essence, at the very essence, we have discussed UHV. Okay, and this gives us enough scope for exploration. But as an information, so many things are there. I need to go through them and appreciate what effort people have done. Maybe it will help me further. Is it? Yes, yes, yes. Similarity is that they are all trying to see the reality. So some word will be used in Sufism for space. Some word will be used in Buddhism for space. In Jainism for space. In all these 6 darshans for space. The words might be different, but they have tried to denote the reality. Now, if just by studying, let's say UHV, because in UHV you have tried to bring the essence of all this, one is able to see the space and the submergence and reach the state of realization, very good. Otherwise, these all will help.
Bhaiya, there is one question.
Yeah.
We are talking about all the Vedas traditions here, Bhaiya. We are talking about all the Vedas tradition, philosophies, everything. According to the universal human order, everybody is same. Human being is universal. Then why do we want to follow a Hindu tradition, Christianity tradition, Islam, everything separately? Will this create a problem if we are following a particular tradition?
So 2 things will happen. For example, if somebody is practicing Christianity, one will become Christian true sense of the word. In place of just following some rituals, will start understanding Christianity. Okay. And second thing, ultimately you have to be human being, a humane human being, right? And once you are humane, it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or X or Y or Z. It doesn't matter at all. For example, and unless you tell me, how do I know that what kind of religion you belong to? You are a human being, you are a relative. That's all. So you'll see that after undergoing self-exploration, if you are very strong in your rituals, that clinging to rituals comes down. If that is not leading to right understanding, then what good it is making enough to you? So that clinging will come down. The differentiation will come down. The position will come down. And gradually we all start behaving as human beings, mere human beings.
But why this thing is insisted in UHV especially? All the 3 kinds of traditions. Is there any
No, not insisted. I've just shared the tradition. We are talking about the Indian philosophies, no? So I'm talking about the various proofs that have been accepted, the various traditions that are there.
Yeah, since we are talking about the traditions and practices, the group of caste, everything, what are as like first time I'm asking this question since I got married that way. What you are thinking about intercaste marriage, Bhaiya?
See, ultimately, now
It's
when
okay or it should not happen. Like in your not your perspective, EHV point of view, like think about the intercaste marriage. So the tradition are coming intercaste marriage. Then what about my family like that?
yeah, again here, first of all, you have to look into the purpose
By
of
the
marriage.
boy side will be
Wait,
dominated
let me
that
respond.
way.
So, so we have to look into the purpose of marriage.
Okay.
Let's say if the marriage takes place in the same caste,
Ah.
does it ensure mutual happiness, mutual prosperity?
We cannot ensure.
We cannot ensure.
Yes.
If you marry in some other caste, does it ensure?
No.
It may not ensure.
Yeah.
So that is not the issue.
Okay.
Okay. The issue is to ensure mutual happiness, mutual prosperity.
They are living happily, Bhaiya, but I am asking about in point of and traditions we are following. That will be continuing or 1 or 2 cases will be like that we should take.
I'll say that
Uh,
2 good human beings will marry.
Okay.
Okay, and the purpose of marriage will be clear, right? They may belong to any caste, any religion, whatever. That is possible.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And another thing is there, while marrying also, no, because in marriage, like when people marry and then produce children, so the health of the body also matters. So certain genetic things have to be looked into. For example, somebody who is very close in relation, maybe having the same genetic descendants, so it may lead to problems in the child. For example, in some parts of the country, brothers and sisters are also marrying. Okay, and then thalassemia is one problem which is quite emerging in Chhattisgarh. In many villages, they have this issue of thalassemia because they marry within the family. Okay, so we have to look into the health part also, and ultimately the family has to be open to explore. Even if you are marrying very in a very restricted manner, same caste, same clan, everything fine. But if it is not open to self exploration and very stringent rituals are being followed, it will not lead to mutual happiness.
Bhaiya, just one clarification I would like to bring here. Just
Okay, I'm saying yes. Yeah, please tell me.
no, this the what you said about thalassemia is correct, but the core problem is the anemia, and because if two people are severe anemic and they get married and they have like in a gene the cell is mutated and both people have, so the genetically it goes forward. So it is not about two people within the same clan or family or brother and sister. It is about the deficiency in some like anemia, and then the cell get mutated, and because it is genetically get transformed from one to another. So that's how if two people have muted, even if they are not in the same family or they are not a brother sister, but the one cell that is mutated because of the lack of anemia, then the thalassemia occurrence of thalassemia among children is higher, like that.
Yeah, fine. So I
Yeah.
am saying that we have to look into the health part also. So when two people are marrying, it's not only the religion or the caste, we have to also look into the health part, right? So if someone is anemic or someone is having some diseases, right? So that also you have to look into whether baby is going to be born healthy or not. You know, that is what we have to look into.
Yeah,
Yes.
the homework which we did last time, will we be able to do the same thing with these? If at all we are doing, what would be the
Same eight
categorize? Yeah,
indices. Yes. 8 pointers.
the determinants also.
Yes. So you have to make out. So this is the homework I'm going to assign today evening. Yeah. So these are various philosophies, and we can talk about these points. So ultimately, we have to see all this. We have to get the answer to all these questions. What is human being? What does this existence consist of? That is material, consciousness, space. So how they have tried to address these three realities: material, consciousness, and space. Then how is human being related to other human being and the rest of nature? The relationship part. What is the human purpose at individual level, at collective level? What is happiness according to this particular philosophy? What is prosperity according to this particular philosophy? Similarly, what is the process to see or understand, want to understand, what to understand? So what is the process for transformation? What are the human values on the basis of the world vision, and how are these values implemented and expressed in living? So how will the validation come? Program for fulfillment of human purpose at the individual level. If this program is successful, what will be the qualities of the human being? So what would be the parameters of human conduct? Program for fulfillment of human being at the collective level, societal level. So will it lead to human society? If this collective program is successful, what kind of society will it be? Will it ensure well-being of all, conditionally or unconditionally? A relationship with people, irrespective of their class, caste, creed, gender, faith, and relationship with the rest of nature, whether it is sustainable or not, mutually enriching or not, production is cyclic or not. We have to evaluate all these parameters, looking into our own natural acceptance, whether I want it or not. What are the present day aspirations of people and causes of the present day problems? How will these get resolved in the light of this philosophy? Correlate with the goals mentioned in UHV, values mentioned in the Indian Constitution, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, or Article 51. Aspirations articulated in NEP 2020, development of full human potential, equitable and just society, national development, and so on. And the FDGs. Okay. So we can look into all these parameters. So essentially, we have to do those 8 points first, and then we can extend it to this further exploration. what is the idea of human society according to this philosophy? So what is the idea of a Jain human society in Jain philosophy? What is the idea of a human society in Buddhist philosophy, right? Or in Vedic darshan? Is this fine? So these are various inquiries that we have to make. So it is time for break. So we'll break for tea now, and then we study the other darshans.